ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cronkite Sports Live. I am Spencer Hardenbergh, joined alongside Braiden Bell. And Braiden, have you ever heard the phrase, you try your best but you don't succeed?
That's like my motto in math class, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, so yes, I've heard it before.
We all live it sometimes. ASU football has been living that expression this season. At a measly 1-4 of their last 5 games, ASU have lost all of those 4 games by just 1 touchdown. The latest defeat came at the hands of Stanford, and we have a highlight on that. Stanford ASU in what some are calling the Innovation Bowl. Stanford trying to not lose their 3rd straight, and ASU trying to stay above 500. We'll start out Manny Wilkins deep to Brandon Ayuk for a big gain. However, ASU was not able to capitalize, did not score that drive. Stanford comes back down the field. They were stopped as well, so a little back and forth to start it out. Brandon Reese got ASU on the board, 3-0. First one on the board for ASU. And however, in the second half, Stanford would pull away. It's a 6-6 game. Touchdown to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside makes it 13-6. And then Stanford again does not stop. A rushing touchdown for Cameron Scarlett makes it a 20-6 game. Seemed as if it was over. And we'll see Herm here on the sidelines is not a very happy camper with his squad. ASU would try to claw back into it. Manny Wilkins and co. drive down the field. Wilkins with a 10-yard rushing touchdown makes it 20-13. However, it was not enough as ASU would fall to Stanford 20-13. Stanford will go to 5-2 and ASU to 3-4. Now on that game, we have Eliav Gabay and company with more on the loss.
Another close loss by the Sun Devils, but this time at the hands of the Stanford Cardinal as they fell on Thursday night, 20-13. Hello, everybody. Chancellor Johnson, Eliav Gabay, Chris Gleason here. And gentlemen, another game where the Sun Devils lose by a touchdown. Eliav, I'll start with you. What was the difference maker out there tonight?
Well, you know, everyone's going to talk about the penalties, 7 penalties for 86 yards, which they should, and the turnovers. But in my opinion, down the stretch is where, again, the Sun Devils couldn't get it done. This time due to clock management when they had a chance somehow in this game, which it wasn't a very good game overall, but they had a chance and they just couldn't convert and get enough time to complete that comeback. So moving forward, especially when they've lost every game this season by a touchdown, you got to clean up your play down the stretch.
And they've continued to fall short. But Chris, what did you see out there?
Well, turnovers and penalties, I think, were the 2 biggest problems outside of their time of possession. Like Eliav said, time of possession is something that's killed them when they play teams that are over 500 overall. But 2 turnovers for ASU. They missed a chance to get some of their own and ended up with 0. That's something that defensive coordinator Danny Gonzalez said they want to work on, and it's something they fell short at tonight.
We talked about the turnovers there. And coming into the season, we thought the offense would be the highlight of this team. Eliav, why have they struggled on offense?
Well, I honestly think the system of running the ball that often has made them very predictable and has taken the best player of this team out of the games in N'Keal Harry. I don't think they're giving him enough attention, and that's really taken away from the overall production of this offense. And I understand that running the ball will probably open that up, but I'm not sure this team is fit for that system quite yet.
Coming up next, they take on USC at USC. Chris, what will they need to do to beat the Trojans in their own building?
Well, looking at tonight's game against Stanford, they are going to have to clean up the penalties. 7 penalties for 86 yards tonight. You can say what you want about questionable calls. There was definitely plenty that didn't go in ASU's favor, called and uncalled. But it's still something they need to work on because USC, somehow when they play ASU, turns it up and plays very disciplined football. And so the Sun Devils are going to have to match that because they will be outmatched athletically, again, just like they were today. So they're going to need to crack down on the penalties and, like I said before, get those turnovers. That's going to help them a lot with this time of possession issue as well.
Well, they will only have a few more games to clean up their mistakes. But up next, they will take on the USC Trojans. For Eliav Gabay, Chris Gleason, and Chancellor Johnson, this has been Cronkite Sports Roundtable.
From disappointment on the gridiron to an upset on the pitch, Arizona State's women's soccer program picked up their first win against a ranked opponent since 2015 on Thursday, taking down number 19 Washington State 3-1. Our Tyler Mannion has more on the big win.
Coming into Thursday's match, the Sun Devils hadn't beaten a ranked team all season. The 19th ranked Washington State Cougars looked like a good place to start. The first half was tightly contested, with neither side creating a lot of chances. The ASU offense had nothing going, despite the return of leading goal scorer Nicole Douglas from international duty. Less than a minute before halftime, the Cougs found a way to score, and the game was changed. Coming out of the locker room, the Sun Devils were a completely different team. Although the arrival of some familiar faces from ASU basketball might have helped, a decision made by the coach on the pitch helped more.
Coach Graham Winkworth knew a change needed to be made if his Sun Devil squad wanted to avoid their 4th consecutive loss. He decided to start 2 strikers up top instead of 1, and that made all the difference.
The Sun Devils tied it up in the 73rd minute thanks to a bending free kick from Marlene Schimmer that found a way over the wall and into the net. Only 4 minutes later, goal number 2 began with Captain Gemma Perfield, ended with freshman Eva Van Dersen, and made Coach Graham Winkworth proud.
It was an example of the type of soccer we're trying to play, and to see one of my midfield players getting on the end of a cross like that was phenomenal.
Just another 4 minutes after that, senior Natalie Stevens provided the dagger that ASU and she needed.
High fives from everyone and all my coaches. Just having that support. And I've been, like I said, training hard. So it's like getting the payoff at the end. It felt amazing.
Unfortunately, Washington State senior Maddie Harrow suffered an apparent neck injury just a few minutes before the final whistle and required serious medical attention before being put in an ambulance. Winkworth said she was capable of motion, and one of her teammates sent positive signs to Cougar parents in the stands. Somehow, the players were able to finish the game, and ASU came out 3-1 victors.
Yeah, I think everything started to come together today. We have the whole squad back, and like you say, we've been losing players in and out through international duty, and that's a fantastic opportunity for them, but it's great now to have the squad together for the rest of the season, and I think everything clicked a little bit today. You kind of saw that in the second half. We played off each other, we played brilliant, and we played with fight and determination, and I think that's why we got that result today.
The Sun Devils have 5 games remaining and will need to continue this quality of play to keep NCAA tournament hopes alive. Reporting from Tempe, Tyler Mannion, Cronkite Sports.
The temperature is down into the 80s in Tempe, and the ASU golf teams are taking full advantage of the weather. On the men's side, they are off to a solid start this season. So far in their invitationals, they have finished 2nd twice and 4th once. Cameron Sisk led the team in their most recent match, the Alistair McKenzie Invitational in Scottsdale. The freshman finished at 5 under and has a bright future ahead. The women are also off to a hot start, finishing 2nd in both of their invitationals. They are currently preparing for the Stanford Intercollegiate, which starts today, an invitational they head into being ranked number 8. Now from the links over to the volleyball court. If you look into the archives of this show a few episodes back, you'll find one of the anchors making what was a bold prediction about women's volleyball, saying they would win 4 games in conference play. That very insightful anchor was me, but even I undersold the squad. The ladies are already at 4 wins with 12 games to go, and a big part of this incredible turnaround from last season is the play of the blockers in the middle. Troy Tauscher has more on that.
About halfway through their conference season, the Arizona State volleyball team is showing signs of growth, with a 4-4 Pac-12 record and 2 wins over ranked opponents. 2 players who have been key to that success are middle blockers Megan Beatty and Carmen Unsue. The life of a middle blocker can be very challenging, and the rewards can be few and far between.
So the middle life sucks. Being a middle is not easy. Like, you're blocking everything. You always have to be available. You always have to cover. So they're the ones that are running around the court all the time. So I think the beginning of the year they were getting a little frustrated. But now that they see, hey, if I put the work in, eventually I'm going to see the ball and I'm going to be in a good position to score.
ASU's middles have made the most of the opportunities when they are in scoring position. Beatty and Unsue check in at 1st and 2nd on the team in hitting percentage, respectively. For Beatty, the numbers show how far she's progressed since her freshman year. After hitting 156 a year ago, the sophomore from Canada is now approaching 400 and ranks 3rd in the Pac-12 in that category.
I think she's making a lot of progress. I think we call her a bazooka, because she hits really hard and she's just banging balls everywhere. And I think she's a really big project for the team. I think she's going to be really good. And she's bringing a lot of big numbers for the team, so she's been really useful.
One of the keys to ASU's success up front is the communication among the middle contingent.
We're really good friends. We're really close. All 3 of the middles were really close. So all of us, even in practicing games, we're always talking to each other, like how can we score, where to tip, and all that. It's constant.
Reporting from Tempe, Troy Tauscher, Cronkite Sports.
And you know what? This volleyball team, they've been so good. Let's keep talking about them. I'm joined now by Gabe Swartz here at the desk. And before I ask you about the volleyball team, I want to go back and talk about Spencer real quick. Kind of a weird flex.
Yeah.
Talking about his bold prediction. You just put us in the spin zone off air. The more they win, the worse he looks.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on that. But let's
that
dive in,
works.
because this team really has been surprising. There's been a whole bunch of differences overall, but also individually. And let's talk about Megan Beattie a little bit. She looks like a completely different player this season. What's been the biggest turnaround for her this season as opposed to last?
Overall, I think it's just a lot more comfort going from her freshman year to her sophomore season. Last year as a freshman hit 156 for the Sun Devils. This year she's at 381, just a little bit under 400, and she looks like a completely different player. I think that's one of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest reason, as to why the Sun Devils have exceeded expectations right now and why they're sitting at 4-4 almost halfway through Pac-12 play.
And you mentioned that 4-4 record exceeding expectations. They've been very good in a difficult conference. What has led to their success, and what has also given them trouble on the flip side?
Well, it sounds really simple, but I think it just comes down to serving. When the Sun Devils have 5 or more aces, the team is 10-1 in their matches. When they have less than 5 aces, they're 3-6. What gives them trouble, though, is Ivana Jeremic. If teams can take her out of the match and hold her under 10 kills, the team is 2-4. So that really kind of takes them out of their game.
Numbers never lie, and that is a very telling stat right there. The Devils return home this weekend at the Bank. Utah and Colorado, 2 matches there. What do you see happening this weekend against the Mountain Schools?
The one thing that is evident so far with this Sun Devil team is that they're not very consistent. You don't know which team's going to show up day to day. With lots of rest, they tend to play worse than normal. So I would expect Utah tonight to be a tough match and probably be a loss. I think Sunday you'll get a win against Colorado, as that Colorado team is 0-3 on the road this season. So I think the Sun Devils will split the weekend and go 1-1.
All right, 1-1. I was going to put you in the hot seat, but you gave it to me right away.
1-1.
All right, this Sun Devil team been very good. Gabe, thanks for joining me at the desk.
Thank you.
The Pac-12, it's known for being the premier conference in the nation for volleyball nearly every single year, and 2018 is no difference. With a league play in full swing, it's never too early to start looking at the standings as a whole, and luckily, we have a segment for that. Evan Desai has more.
Thanks, guys. This time of year is when Pac-12 play in NCAA volleyball starts heating up. As expected, Stanford, USC, and Oregon head the conference, and the 4th Pac-12 powerhouse, Washington, also boasts an above 500 record, placing 5th in the pack. We all know UCLA would prove solid once again, and they stand in that 4th spot in the conference and coming off of a 3-match winning streak. 7 teams in the Pac-12 are ranked right now, with 3 receiving votes. One of those teams, Utah, scored a major upset on Sunday, taking down an impressive Oregon team. The matchup to look for tonight will be how the Ducks bounce back when they play another inferior team in the Cal Golden Bears in Eugene. The highest ranking in the conference is the Stanford at 2. The Cardinal received 4 first-place votes this week and should have no problem against Oregon State, who has yet to win a conference game. Another contest to look at is the University of Arizona's attempt to bounce back from their Pac-12 woes this season in a favorable look against Colorado. As a whole, the Pac-12 has been more than impressive thus far into the season and has a chance to be even more competitive down the stretch. Back to you guys.
Awesome stuff there, guys. Now it is time to move over to one of our favorite segments. That, of course, Sun Devil social media. For that, we have Henry Steiner. Now, Henry, I made my debut on social media last week. Now it is your turn. I hope you brought the stuff, man.
Hey, just like the Sun Devils, I got the fire.
He's got the fire.
A lot of competitive spirit in here. Right? You guys are challenging each other almost.
You gotta bring that
I
flag.
don't like it, in fact. We're on the same team. Let's calm down, gentlemen.
I'm ready to roll.
All right, well, let's see what you got, I guess. Prove them wrong.
Let's start it. Well, you know football wide receiver N'Keal Harry for Arizona State. You know he's good on the field, but
We've
did you
heard
know that
this.
he
It's
could
not
do
bad.
this on the court?
No. Oh, what's about to happen? Oh, God.
Oh,
no.
You hate to see it do it to him.
Thoughts and prayers to the glass, the backboard there. That was not pretty.
That's just how it would be. But hey, so Riley Richardson, women's basketball player, said, I don't ever want to play you in basketball again, at N'Keal Harry.
Yeah,
But you know what? I have a different opinion than her. I think I could take him. N'Keal, 1v1.
Okay, so we all know Skip Bayless.
Yes.
He has hot takes. This is a hot take.
This is one of
Why
the
do you want
takes.
this?
I'm just feeling it right now. I got the juices flowing.
What are you feeling? Foolishness?
He's confident. He's confident.
I got it.
I would pay to see that. I would pay to see that.
Yeah. You give me seats on the floor for that thing, please.
It'll be next thing of Khabib Mayweather, you know?
Oh, God. Whoa. Oh, no.
All right, so this next tweet from Cronkite Sports director Brett Kurland. He was watching the game. He was watching the ASU football game on the ESPN, and he sees the stars in here.
They're coming to take our jobs, Brock. The Walter Cronkite Sports Network here at ASU, student-run organization. They cover Sun Devil athletics. They have a studio show if you want to tune in every Friday at 4 p.m. Cronkite Sports Live, and they do a great job.
So how did you guys feel making your ESPN debut?
Very nice. I was pretty bummed you couldn't make it, man.
Dude, Heartbreak City, man. It's all this love. My parents saw this. They were like, wow, that's your organization. Where were you?
No, it was pretty cool. That's exactly how I always dreamed my first ESPN debut would be like. So
it will not be your last.
Perfect. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
I'm see it happen. All right, so our final tweet here is from possibly one of the most famous Sun Devils, the Beard himself, James Harden, former ASU basketball player. So SportsCenter tweeted this, and I'm going to ask it to you. Which James Harden are you?
I'll let you lead this off.
I'm taking this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 8. I'm going to go 8. It's a good day to be from Boston. Sox are back in the World Series. Pretty excited. I'm going 8.
Okay, give me a combo here. 7, TGIF. Everyone's smiling. How could you not go against this adorable grandma here? Love that.
Lovely. It's lovely.
Give me 9 as well.
Okay.
Ooh, it's the weekend.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like a little surprise in there. You gotta love 9. Give me the corners.
I like that. Right. Hey, it's a good day, all right.
You know what? I'll go with combination. I'll do 2 and 3 because I was watching the game yesterday and just what are you doing there? Rough game.
It was a rough game if you were supporting the Maroon and Gold. This segment, not so rough. No, pretty good job. I'll let you be the judge.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys were going at it at the beginning.
I think you won up me. I'll be honest.
Brothers in arms, you know?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Hey, you did a good job, Henry. Thank you so much for doing it.
It's a pleasure.
All right, but what a weekend it was for Arizona State hockey. The Sun Devils, a program that just made the jump to D1 4 years ago, hosted the #1 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes, at Oceanside Arena in Tempe. This was a monumental step in the program's growth. The Devils were competitive in this series, and a lot of that has to do with the strong recruits head coach Greg Powers has gotten to Tempe recently. One of those recruits, Demetrios Koumantzis, has an interesting journey that led him to Tempe. Riley Trujillo has more.
The first 2-0 start in Sun Devil hockey history is in part thanks to the player who scored the first goal of the season. That just so happens to be freshman Demetrios Koumantzis, and he will likely continue to be an offensive producer.
Special player, you know, he's a special player. We were fortunate enough to recruit him early and gain a commitment from him when he was only 15. And he went up to Minnesota and just absolutely lit it up. He was a Mr. Hockey finalist. Obviously, he got drafted by Calgary in the 4th round. He led the elite league in points last summer. He's a special talent, and he's shown it out here in every way. I don't want to jinx the kid, but I think he's ready to make an impact right away.
Koumantzis has already been a standout player for the Sun Devils as he scored the program's first goal of the season.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, you always want to get it out of the way early. You don't want to be goalless, but I don't know. I didn't think about it too much. I mean, right when it happened, I was really excited, but then it was another 48 minutes to go in the game, so I kind of just had to calm down and get ready to play those other minutes. But no, it's more important to get the win, especially. I mean, to get the Arizona State's first sweep, home sweep. It's pretty awesome. It's a good feeling to be a part of that. I mean, that's why we're all here, to be the tradition of a new program.
But for Demetrios, there is something even more special about playing at Oceanside Arena.
I grew up here until I was about 10, 11 years old. So just being here, playing hockey as a child, it was like, yeah, they're not a big hockey town. And when I moved up to Minnesota, which is like the state of hockey, hearing that they got D1 program, I was like, wow, like, that'd be awesome to be home and be a part of that and build it. And that was, once they started talking, I was like, yeah, I want to be there.
Not only does he have 4 years ahead of him at Arizona State, but Demetrios looks forward to a career in hockey after being drafted at only 18 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely an exciting day. I can't lie. Like, it was awesome. It's a pretty big deal. Like, it was an awesome thing to happen to me. But right after it happened, it was back to work again. That's kind of how I think about it. It was a good experience. But now we're all in the same boat. Like we're all working to get to the next level. Everyone's in the same boat here at the college level. We're all playing same level, same team now. And I guess I don't think about it too much anymore. I mean, it's still there, but now I'm here, so.
In Tempe, Riley Trujillo for Cronkite Sports.
The ASU women's hockey team is getting into the full swing of things this season as they are now preparing for a 4-game and 3-day road trip. WCSN was at practice this past week and caught up with head coach Lindsay Ellis.
I'm excited. I mean, definitely coming off a win from Grand Canyon. We come in with the mindset that, we can do anything, and I think just from the goals they set for themselves, they're just ready to play and, hopefully prove some people wrong.
I get the sense that this is a very winnable weekend for you guys because you're playing one team that you've had a lot of success against, a very young program, and a Midland team that you're obviously very capable of beating. Would you agree with that?
Yes. I think we need to perform. Our returners are definitely hungry coming off of, only losing, 3-0 to a ranked Lindenwood and then, not performing well against Midland in our last game of last season. So, our returners are definitely hungry for more, and our freshmen, they came here to win. So we're just excited to hopefully have some success this weekend.
I assume Maddie will be back in game action this weekend. So this will be, I guess, the biggest roster that you've had for games now with, I guess, that's 18 skaters, and you'll be utilizing all 3 goalies. I have to imagine that's a challenge that maybe a challenge, but an opportunity that you're looking forward to as a coach to have that much flexibility.
Definitely. I mean, to be able to have 4 separate lines it's a crazy thought coming from 8 to 10 skaters last year. So, it's really exciting, and we can switch things up during a game if something's not working or whatever. And, we've never had that option before. So it's really exciting for us on the bench.
I know last year you said it wasn't an excuse to use depth issues as an excuse, but this year you have a lot more players going this weekend. How are you feeling just about this weekend's expectations compared to last year?
Yeah, there were times where last year, we put every bit of, blood, sweat, and tears on the ice, and, unfortunately we just, at the end didn't have enough gas in our tank to fully compete for 60 minutes. So, I know we said no excuses last year, but really there's absolutely no excuses now. Full roster, you can dress 21, we got 21. So, everybody needs to be working hard, and, if they're not going to be on the ice. So.
Drake, beach days, ice cream. These are 3 things I love. Another thing I really love, the way it is. And that's what is about to happen right now. It's where Spencer and I debate a little bit. We've got 3 questions, and then the producer back in the studio decides who answered best. And we just get a simply monologue. So it's a lot of fun, Spencer. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready to battle. Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to pick up the win today. Let's start off. Put your teacher cap on for a moment.
It's on.
Grade the performance of ASU football last night.
Last night, I'm going to give them a B-. That's a good Stanford team, and they hung with them for most of the game.
So kind of a light grader. I'm going to go with a C, and I'm balancing it out, kind of a curve scale, if you will. Defense was very good. Offense, not so much. Average it out. C's get degrees. They don't win you football games, though.
That's fair. We're going to stick with ASU football. Do they make a bowl game? They're now 3-4.
No, I'm sorry. I just don't think so. That schedule at the very end of the season, very tough. The road game's not easy at all, and we've seen this team struggles on the road.
Absolutely, I'm with you. At 3-4, and it's a bummer for ASU fans because there was so much excitement coming into this year, especially around Herm Edwards and what he could do to change the program, but I just don't see it with the way the season's going.
All right, last one, volleyball. You've heard a lot about this team on the program so far. They've been a great surprise so far this season. Give me a bold prediction. Pull out that crystal ball. What else will happen this season in ASU sports that'll surprise some people?
I'm going to go ASU baseball, 3rd straight losing season, and Tracy Smith gets canned.
Okay. I'm going to go ASU basketball instead of a negative lead like you just had there. I'll go positive. I think they make it to the 2nd weekend. I know that is bold, but I think this team is very talented, and I think Bobby Hurley and company will surge at the right time, unlike last year.
I would agree with you there. They got a real good squad. We can agree on.
Do I
get
bonus points for getting to agree with
I hope not. If that's what made me lose, I'm really not going to be happy.
Could have been your demise.
I'm 2-0. I don't need I don't need the upset.
All right, 2-0. I know another team that was 2-0, and they've fallen off as well.
Oh yeah. I think we covered them. We covered them a little bit.
I guess we'll see what's about to happen here. But there we go.
You're my Aztec, Braiden.
Great stuff. I am your Aztec. I am your San Diego. Word to Ron Burgundy. Just a few weeks ago, Herm Edwards and the Arizona State football program were the darlings of college football. Fresh off of an upset win over a top 15 team, the Devils were getting all sorts of love from the national media. Well, a lot can change in a few weeks. Fast forward to present day, and things have settled down quite a bit. After the Devils' latest loss to Stanford, ASU's looking more like the team they expected them to be than what they showed at the beginning of the year. What I'm getting at is that even though today's loss against Stanford has really injured the start to the season for ASU, fans should still be excited from what they've seen so far. This team, even though their losses have been ugly and close at some times, they've battled each and every snap. It seems like they've already taken on the attitude of their head coach, Herm Edwards. We are seeing a tough, gritty product, and we are only 7 games into the Edwards era. Now, this may not be the season where Arizona State competes for a conference title, and who knows if they even make a bowl game. The fact is, though, if this team continues to buy in and they leave it on the grass, things could get very exciting here in Tempe very soon. And that's the way it is.
Top plays, we all love them. Let's roll them. Let's start out with number 3. Braiden, how tough are you feeling today?
Not very.
All right, well, you're not feeling nearly as tough.
Oh, no, get me off the ice.
On the rink, let's talk hockey. Johnny Walker sneaks that one in. A shot from near the blue line. And he taps it in, guides it into the goal. Johnny Walker decided to put on a pair of skates.
Keep on walking, Johnny.
Keep on walking, Johnny.
Gotta
Good play
love
by him.
That Sunnyvale hockey play number
Ohio
2.
State.
Let's go talk a little bit of soccer. All right, Marlene. Oh my! Shimmer puts it in. Shimmy some more from distance. The Devils knock off number 19 Washington State. Big time win. That was to tie the match right there.
I think I did that in FIFA yesterday. Now, Braiden, riddle me this: if tying is good, what's better?
Winning.
I'd say taking the lead. Eva Van Dersen puts that one into the top corner in the 78th minute to take a 2-1 lead over number 22 Washington State. ASU would go on to win this game 3-1. Eva Van Dersen with the winning goal in the 78th minute.
Now, okay, Spencer, are you a linguist?
I consider myself a man of culture, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, perfect. All right, well, people might forget Eva actually translates to winning in Dutch. And that is what the Devils did. So big time win for the soccer
Netherlands shout out for you.
We love Netherlands on this program. Big fans.
Absolutely. Now, Braiden, we know World Series is coming up. My Sox are in. Your Dodgers look like they might get in. I don't want to jinx it.
Right.
But next time we do the show, we might be way more mad at each other.
You probably won't be wearing
that
blue tie.
So I will be wearing red, excited. And thank you guys for watching. Next week, same time, different anchors. Thanks, guys.